Welcome back at another one of our travel vlogs. We have just arrived in Cambodia with the two motorbikes and Sarah of course, and we just came from the beautiful island Phu Quoc. We have stayed over more than 1 month in Cambodia and we are going to take you along with us for the ride. And one of the first destinations, because we are coming from Phu Quoc, was Kep. If you guys don't know it, Kep is a really small village in Cambodia and there is not really a lot to do. What is there to do, I hear you thinking? There are two things. There is a small beach and there is literally a crab statue in the water. So a tip from us to you guys is, if you're short on time, don't visit Kep, and if you really want to see that, go there for half a day and that's more than enough. We are live now on our way to Bokor Hill, but I have to say the ride already is spectacular and amazing. Not only the views are really good. Okay, so this was the Palace of the King that was built in 1936. Most of it was built by brick and black wood, and it's maybe hard to see, but this was probably his living room. Or this would be my living room at least, because if all these plants would be cut down, you can see the sea a little bit over there, and through the woods you can see it. I mean, this guy had the sickest view of everybody. The abandoned church of Bokor Hill. It is cold, people, I'm telling you guys. Kampot is famous for a couple of things in Cambodia. One of the things is the La Plantation that we will be showing you next, but we went first to Bokor Hill. Bokor Hill is more an abandoned town where they have an abandoned church, abandoned houses, and even more than that, all sitting on top of the Cambodian hill. A cool thing is they still have an old palace where you can go out just to have a nice lunch and get a beautiful view over the island. Bokor Hill is a small 2-hour drive from Kampot. It's a really beautiful drive, but make sure that you bring some good clothing with you, because sometimes it can get really chilly up there. If you do feel confident with driving a motorbike, I would highly recommend just rent one yourself and just go up to Bokor Hill. It's a beautiful 2-hour drive and it's really good to do with the roads. I'm standing right now in front of one of the famous pepper plantations of Cambodia. This is one of the biggest plantations as well, and they grow all the famous peppers out here. If you need to know to which pepper plantation you need to go, La Plantation is one of the most famous and biggest one around in Kampot. You can either get a trike or just get it yourself by the motorbike, but the roads are a bit tricky. One of the cool things about the plantation is that you can just show up there, you don't have to book anything, and you can just join one of the free tours that they are offering. It was a French couple that have made the Kampot pepper really famous in the last couple of years because they have renovated the plantation. I think they did it over 20 years ago, and there are also so many French tourists that they even have French speaking guides. Why is the Kampot pepper so famous? It is unique and has a complex flavor profile, and it's only being grown in the southern of Cambodia. The pepper as grown in the region is considered also one of the finest one in the world and is also protected. It's really cool because during the tour they are also showing you all different kinds of peppers that they are growing. They are also showing you how long it takes, how many people it will take for it to harvest, and the difference between a black pepper, a red pepper, a white pepper, all the different kind of the processing as well. It's really something that we would recommend you to visit. It's also something free, as I mentioned before, that you can just hop on, and it's less than an hour from Kampot. Welcome to the ferry of Genocidal, or the harbor of Genocidal, and this is the ferry that will take you to Koh Rong. So, are the Cambodian boats pet friendly? I think this it will be a clear answer. Sarah? Yeah! And we have arrived at Koh Rong. Sarah's already eating something, like always. Chicken wing or some garbage. This really feels like Boracay. white sandy beaches, as long as I can see. And here we go, in the back of our pickup. We have arrived at Koh Rong, one of the most beautiful islands that we have been on so far. I almost feel like the Philippines. This is the view that we have from one of our houses. As you can see over there, that's one of our houses. This is the restaurant that we're at. And this is the beautiful view that we enjoy for the next week. Because I also had to work, we were only able to spend 2 days on Koh Rong. Koh Rong is one of those beautiful islands, just like Boracay, Phuket, where there isn't really a lot to do, but it's just such a beautiful and magical island that you could spend up easily 7 days or even more if you have the time to it. So I would recommend, if you're not in a rush and if you have the time for it, just go for a week to Koh Rong, just relax, sit back, take some books with you and enjoy the island vibes. Also, if you're short on time like we had, 2 days should be more than enough to explore it. We are at the S21 museum. I will already give you a small glimpse of the outside. The S21 museum is all about the historical event that happened during the genocide. We started off with getting our tickets, and once you got your tickets you got yourself an audio guide. We would highly recommend that you would get your audio guide, because without it you will miss out on half of the experience itself. One of the most beautiful things is how respectful everybody was out here and how well everybody was listening to the audio guide. So really everybody was just in the same mood and really overwhelmed with all the information that you were getting. For those of you who don't know what the S21 is, it used to be an old school back in the day. So literally children would go to school here only around in 1975 to 1979. The Khmer Rouge took over Cambodia, took over Phnom Penh. So they started using the S21 as a prison where they would interrogate people for their own purposes. And the many more worse things. The S21 museum is also one of the places that they try to keep as original as they could to for the people to see how it was happening back in the days and what's happening about 40 years ago. In the S21 museum they also kept some things as original as it can be. They also had a set of swings outside that were used back in the day as swings for the school, of course, but during the time of the Khmer Rouge they would be to hang people and to torture them. It's really shocking to see, but it also gives you a realistic sign how it was going back in the days. Thanks to the audio guide, they can really bring over the picture and all the information that you need about how it was going 40 years ago. And one of the things that we were also very surprised about is how open the museum is. For example, you can walk everywhere you want to go. There are no restrictions. All the rooms are open for you to go in and just spend as much time as you want. I would recommend, if you're going to visit the museum, go early in the morning or a bit later at the afternoon, because a lot of tour guides can be going at the same time during the midday, so try to avoid that to get the best experience, but it's definitely something that you cannot miss once you're in Cambodia. For the Khmer Rouge, the S21 museum or prison back then was mostly being used for interrogations and to find out information about the enemy. So most of the people that arrived at the prison back in the days were there for a couple of days or even weeks, and after that they were taken to the Killing Fields. They took very short time in that, as us was being told during our tour, and because of that there are almost zero survivors from back in the days that are arrived at the prison. At the end of the Khmer Rouge, some people actually did survive the prison, and it was surprising to us because some of these people were actually working as a volunteer right now at the prison to speak to the tourists and travelers and meet them and tell about their experience from back in the days. Once the prisoners were interrogated and overheard at the S21 prison, they were put into a van and being brought to the Killing Fields. The Killing Fields is one of these historic places that you are also able to visit. What would happen at the Killing Fields is nothing but harsh reality, that all the prisoners were being brought over there and they were being slaughtered. If I'm correct, there are more than 1 million people in those 4 to 5 years that has been brought here and that has been put up for slaughtering. There's also a tree where they would kill the babies. It's crazy to see, but once you go up to the tree, you can still see the damage from the skull and the impact that has been done. And also, once there is a lot of rain that's coming up, they dug all the bodies up in the field. There's bones are still coming up to these days that you can just find and just see. The S21 Museum and the Killing Fields are truly two shocking events to see, but it's very beautiful how Cambodia displayed them as an historical monument. We are going for the Angkor Wat sunrise tour today. It's 4 AM right now and we're getting picked up in about 30 minutes, so we are about to get ready and walk over to it. First, some cuddles for her. Yeah, cutie. You're not allowed on bed and you know that. Our alarm clock went off around the 4 AM in the morning because around 5:30 we wanted to be ready behind the beautiful Angkor Wat because that's where the sun is going to come up. Also, we wanted to be a step ahead of the crowd, so we wanted to be there as early as possible. So for those of you who don't know what Angkor Wat is the largest religious monument in the world and is located in Cambodia. It was originally built in the 12th century by one of the kings as a Hindu temple to dedicate to the gods. Later it became a Buddhist temple. One of the cool things I always found about the temples is that there are so many meanings behind some simple structures as the one I'm going to show you up right now. So there are here two different sides of the story to tell. You see on the left side we have all the guards standing over here and all the statues, and on the right side you see also a lot of statues. On the first side you think there are just a couple of statues, that's it, but there's a story behind it. On the left side you see all the guards that are pulling through the snakes, and there is a really big difference in the statue. As you can see, the statue face, and on the right side you also see the statues, but these are not guard statues, they are from the demon statues. But the story is that back in the days the guards and the demons, they used to work together. They didn't like each other, but they used to work together to get all the water out of the system. And how did they do that? They wrapped a snake around the mountain and they both pulled on it, and that's how they got the water out. That's why you see literally the snake. This is supposed to be a snake back in the days, and they are all pulling, and over there it's the same. But it's literally really cool story. And as you can see the faces of it, the right side is the demon side, they're unhappy, and the left side is the side of the guards, work together for a mutual goal. A pro tip from us guys: once you are going to visit the Angkor Wat Temple complex, there are over more than 1,000 temples out there, so make sure you know which one of the temples you want to see and which one you want to visit. You can do them all on one day if you want, but be prepared because it's going to be an exciting day where you are going to walk a lot of times in the heat, but it is a very cool and good experience. We did 1 day. You can also do it in 2 days or 3 days, just depending on how many temples you want to see. Some temples are also more located into the forest, and if you have a good tour guide, he can take you there and show you around. One of the things that I found really cool is that you can just go to a temple, and if it's safe you can just go all the way up to the top and just explore over there. Live from the Bakheng Temple. So this temple is well known for its 49 towers, and each one of the 49 towers has a Buddha smiling face on them. Let's see if we can find one. As you can see on the head, each temple or each tower has 4 Buddha faces that are smiling in each direction. So according to the legend, to build all the temples here in Angkor Wat, it took about 6,000 elephants, literally 6,000 elephants that were helping to get all the stones, all the materials and all the people to safety whenever they wanted. And as a tribute to all the elephants, they built these massive walls with all the elephant signing and drawing on them. As we were driving towards the Victory Gate, we were also driving towards one of our last temples of the day. This is also the temple that is known as a Tomb Raider, and this has the magic tree inside. So we are going to see what it's all about. We visited the famous Tomb Raider temple at the end of our day. I would recommend, after you have seen the sunrise coming up behind beautiful Angkor Wat, you are going to start with the Tomb Raider temple. The reason before that is it's one of the most famous, because all the Hollywood films have been filmed over here. The famous movie star Angelina Jolie also visited this place for the movies and also for the personal use. So this is one of the most busiest places as well, also because of the tree, the magical mystery tree that is being popped out of the temple complex. So make sure to visit the Tomb Raider temple in the beginning. Also, thank you for watching so far. We are going towards the end of our Cambodia vlog. If you like this video, please make sure to like, subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. So we went back home, we've changed our outfit and we are back at the temples for the sunrise. If you want to see the best sunset, go to Bakheng Temple. You will walk up the mountain, which is a 15-minute walk. Then we can go up and you will have the best spot for the sunset. And then it started raining. We are now at the top of the mountain, and as you can see, the view is absolutely amazing over here. You can see by now also that this is not really an unknown spot, and it's one of the most famous places to see the sunset behind the Angkor Wat Temple complex. Also, once you are going to the Angkor Wat, you buy for a day pass. So if you are going for the sunrise tour, you're also allowed to get in during the sunset tour. So make sure that you don't forget that. We didn't know that in the beginning, so we needed to hassle a bit. But you have the full rights to spend there all day if you would like to.